All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dids in the Dugout, and I'm here with a third-time guest, Treyson Hughes, the red-hot Rebel right fielder who has been on absolute tear here lately. Just doing what he's always done. He's hitting. He's playing really good defense. He's got the MLB Twitter account tweeting about him, making sliding plays and throwing guys out at third. What an incredible play that was. But before we get into all that, Treyson, how you been doing, buddy?
Great. I mean, the season's been going the way it should be, and pitchers are pitching like there should be, hitters are hitting, and you can't ask for anything else.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, baseball's a really simple sport. If you hit well and you pitch well, then you end up winning a lot of games, and that's what's happening with Ole Miss right now.
Sure.
So, but look, y'all are obviously playing incredibly well. Won 10 of your last 11 after a little bit of a skid to start the season, those first 2 weeks. And, it's kind of like I always tell people with baseball, right? You can't get too high or too low too early in the season because this game has a way of evening things out. And if you're good and you put in the work, then more times than not, you're going to end up evening out. And you're an absolute prime example of that. You went through a little bit of a skid there to start the year, and Mike just kept running you out there, right? Your defense never carried, or your stretch at the plate never carried out into the field. You'd always been an incredible defender, even when you were going through that stretch. And now the defense is still there, and you're hitting the hell out of the ball too. So, just kind of take me through that a little bit, and how much fun it's been to, kind of acclimate yourself to this ball club in this league so far.
Yeah, for sure. And to start off with, it's kind of shown that I didn't hit as well as I should have, and it happens, and it's not what I wanted, but it's baseball. And the biggest thing Coach B would say to me, I mean, every game he said, just tell me to keep playing. And the more he kept saying that, the more confidence it built inside of me, the more trust I had in him, and just things are starting to go my way now, and that's how baseball is. Like, I saw your tweet, and hitters hit, bro. I mean,
that's what you do.
Yeah.
It's like I actually tell people all the time, baseball is unlike any other sport in the entire world because, number one, if you're going to be a real baseball fan, then you have to absolutely love it. But on top of that, it's the only game designed for Hall of Famers to fail 70% of the time, right? If you fail 70% of the time, you're still a 300 hitter. And if you end up doing that in the majors, you're going to end up in Canton. So it's just a different sport. And that's why you can't get too high or too low, just like I said. And you and Luke both are obviously really good examples of that. What was it? The kid against South Carolina, lefties were 0 for 17 until you stepped up to the plate the other day.
Yeah. I mean, facing him, and like right before ULM, Coach Clem, our hitting coach, showed me stats from last year and my stats, and just showed me something to go in the SEC play. And last year in 2023, while I was at Mercer, if a pitcher was throwing 93 miles an hour or harder, I was hitting 500 on the whole year. And this year, it was kind of lower, but it's still 93 in like the 7 or 8 at bats this year already. Before South Carolina, I was hitting 500, like when I was facing the kid from Iowa, all those guys. And the biggest thing he told me was, going SEC play, they're going to try and throw you fastballs because they know you're not hitting them as well as you are off speed. Because off speed this year, I'm hitting over like 500.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing I went into South Carolina with was, these lefties they're going to throw me aren't going to beat me with their fastball. No one's going to beat me with their fastball. And that's how I ended up being very successful that past weekend.
Yeah. And it's obviously an approach. And that's one thing I always look for. It's, kind of going back to the baseball analogy and how you end up judging this sport is it's also a sport that you don't just judge the results, right? Like it's a process approach business when you're a hitter in baseball. And if you have a good approach and you stick to it, then good things are going to end up happening. There was a week and a half, 2 week stretch before you got on this hot run you're on now, to where you could see it was coming because of the at-bats you were putting together at the plate. You were incredibly patient. You weren't extending yourself, swinging outside of the zone. And when you made contact, you made hard contact. Unfortunately, it was right at somebody. Those are going to end up finding holes. Right now, they're finding holes. Luke Hill's the same way. A guy that's made really good contact over the last 2 weeks. Had some really actually talked about last Sunday. He had all in one at bat, one of the worst and best at bats I've ever seen in my life, and one single at bat. But and it was when he was trying to get the sacrifice bunt down, gets to 2-1, and then they throw in the screwball or whatever it was that he takes. But he put that in his head, and he said, "Hey, if they throw that thing again to me, I'm going to rip it." And sure enough, they threw it to him, and he ended up driving in those 2 runs to really get the game going for us there last weekend. But yeah, just the approach. If you stick to it, you're going to be okay, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing you can do is keep hitting. Like, you can't just stop hitting and expect something to change. Like, no, you go in, you do your same progression before every game. You get loose. You take your BP the same way. You don't try and change your BP, and you just live in the strike zone. Don't live outside of the strike zone. And when you start chasing is when your batting average goes down. And when you don't chase, your batting average goes up.
I know. It's weird how it works.
Yeah.
It's so funny that actually works, right? Yeah. And like I was thinking this past weekend, because South Carolina was this pitching staff that never walked anybody, right? Like they did not give you any free passes. You had to earn everything that you were going to get from them. And I thought it was a testament to our team, how much we worked counts, walks. We were still able to get off of them, even though they're a pitching staff that never walked anybody all year leading into this weekend. And I thought back to fall ball when I talked to you and Luke and Will Furness, even JT Quinn and Saunier, those guys, about how Bianco had the track man put up on the Jumbotron, right? So you can see what the umpires are getting graded on and know what you can and can't swing at. And, I think that's paid huge dividends for not only the hitters, but the pitchers too, because while we were a little wild beginning of the year, walking way too many batters, they have cut that out almost completely over the last 2.5 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. And the pitchers, the bullpen especially, has just been flat out unbelievable. I mean, Mason Nichols is the guy, and Connor Spencer, when he comes out there, you know that they're going to get 3 outs and we're going to go hit again. Like, that's the biggest thing a hitter loves, is just getting back in the dugout and getting back in the box as quick as possible. Yeah,
and kind of the same token, the starters love y'all going on like 8-run innings and stuff. They're sitting there getting cold and everything else. But that's something just that you'd absolutely swap out with there if y'all are scoring that many runs. But do you think having that track man up during the fall and the spring leading into the season, that's contributed to this team's ability to work counts the way y'all do?
100%. And like, I know the strike zone during the fall is kind of higher for some guys. Like, it's the same. It doesn't change like how it does in the game. But I mean, it shows you that if the ball's up and it clips the top of the zone, guess what? It's a strike. I mean, you can't do anything about it. It's an unhittable pitch, but you can't do anything about it. But it also shows you that some of those times, those guys in that buffer zone, they don't call it a strike.
Yeah.
Or they will call it a strike. And it doesn't count against them, which it's kind of weird.
That's the variance, right? There's no way to accommodate for that. But look, that's part of the game too, though. But y'all have an incredible knowledge of what the strike zone is going to be going into the game. Y'all work incredibly well. And I've got to give you a little bit of a shout out for the way you handled yourself. There was an at bat on Sunday against South Carolina, and there was a pitch that was very clearly high.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well above the numbers that you took at first, and then later in the bat he threw it again, and you had to swing on it and strike out. And I was sitting here thinking, man, he's handling that way better than I would have, because I would have been so pissed. But because that's what's going through your mind, you have to swing at that if it's a called strike first, right?
Yeah, and sometimes in the big moments like that, because we had first and second and 2 outs, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try and be the hero here. But I mean, the guy threw a ball 17 feet in the air, and
Yeah.
Got a little too antsy and I swung at it. But I mean, it happens and you can't carry it on. Like me being an older guy and what Coach B expects is whatever happens. You can't do anything about it. You just got to keep going. I mean, I walked and then I hit a triple and you can't.
Yeah.
Or I hit a walk and you just can't carry it on.
Yeah. I don't think anybody is giving you grief at all for the way you've been performing at the plate here lately. Like I said, you've really been. I mean, you've completely controlled the plate every time you've been up there, damn near it, whether it be working walks or getting hits. And look, another part of your game that's really coming around that fans are really starting to be able to see. You're held on the base paths if they end up putting you on first. I mean, you're really starting to run and having success there.
Yeah, and that's kind of different for me. Like when I was at Mercer, I didn't really steal a lot. I mean, even from taking the extra base, like and here at Ole Miss, they preach it. Like you get on first, you steal. You get on second, next pitch steal. Like we want you to do that because it causes havoc. I mean,
it does.
Last night, Southern Miss, that double play ball should have been a double play, but they didn't make it, and that's what really switched the game, in my opinion. And we started running around the bases, and they just couldn't control it.
Yeah, that's you'll see people all the time when it happens most of the time when there's a play at the plate. If say we get thrown out at some point at the plate, and you look at the replay, and he's out by 2 feet or whatever, and you say, well, why'd you send him there? Well, you go back and look. It took a perfect fielding from whatever outfielder it is. He's got to get the glove on it, have a clean transfer, and make a perfect throw to get it there. More times than not, we're going to score on a play like that as long as you're creating havoc. It's something we've done here in Oxford for years. I've got to give a lot of credit to Mike and that coaching staff. They've always believed in it, and it's only bad when it doesn't work. The good news is it works like 75-80% of the time. So, but it only gets pointed out in a bad way.
I mean, how many times does a shortstop and second baseman throw a ball to home plate? Like that's a big thing. Like they don't do it
not often. No, it's not something they do. So, but yeah, this team's obviously really coming together. Like we've talked about, you've played an incredible outfield. You've been great at the plate, great on the base paths. So you've obviously got everything going right now that Ole Miss fans have been expecting when you transferred in from Mercer. I want to look at some other guys real quick though.
Yeah.
Luke Hill and Andrew Fisher, Jackson Ross. I mean, those are 3 more transfers, just like yourself, and they're having massive impacts on this team offensively and defensively. Yeah. That play Fisher made last night against Southern Miss on that short hop where he got him at first, I couldn't believe he was able to field that thing. He's been really good over there, and Luke's been really good too.
Yeah, and I mean, it's great to have him on our team. I mean, Fisher hit 3 on Sunday, or Saturday, one of the two.
Saturday, yeah.
And it was crazy to watch, and I mean, I wouldn't want it to be any other guy. And, I mean, they all deserve it. And having that Groff 1, last night Ross was 2, Fisher 3, Leger 4, me 5, Luke 6. Yeah. I mean, it just
don't stop.
Like, damn, when are we going to actually get somebody out? You know, I mean, it's fun to be like that. It's fun to where when a team hears your walk-up song, they're like, shit. Like,
here he comes again.
Yeah, like, I mean, same way with Ross. I mean, Ross in the beginning hit a lot of home runs, and he's been hitting the ball hard again. It's gonna turn around for him again. I know. Well, he always does it. He grinds at bats. Like first AB last night, he has a 9 pitch at bat, 10 pitch at bat. Like that's what it is. I mean, it's hard to face our lineup.
Yeah, and what Jackson's doing a really good job of again. I mean, I could name off 5, 6, 7 guys in this lineup doing the exact same thing, but I don't think anybody's better right now at working counts than Jackson Ross is. He has an incredible I mean, he has an incredible understanding of the strike zone and what the pitcher's trying to do to him as well. Yeah. And he seems to really understand that side of it as well. Fisher has really good at bats. He's another guy that really works counts and is in some cases in the pitcher's head a little bit. Like I remember back, I think it was the Iowa series, maybe Saturday, if I'm remembering right, where they threw nothing but changeups, literally all game. All he saw was changeups all game. And he really struggled with them, obviously. He wasn't expecting it. The very next day, they came at him with changeups, bomb.
Yeah,
He was sitting there waiting. He makes such good adjustments, and that's what you have to do in this league. So I think he's been good. And Luke Hill, that I've brought up several times already, has hit the ball so hard for the last couple weeks, and it was always, I'm trying to think of who we were playing. He hits a dribbler to third base, and it was hit probably like 21 miles an hour off the bat, something like that. But he ends up getting safe at first, and Keith Kessinger on the TV broadcast says, hey, sometimes it's something like that gets you going, right? As a hitter, right? And ever since then, he's completely taken off.
When I faced Breck from Iowa, I had 2 infield hits, but you feel like you hit him over the fence when you get to first base. Like they are such just shoulder lifting, like it's so good. Mm-hmm. Like it feels so great, and they make you feel like you can hit again.
Yeah, it's all the same in the box score, man. So I'm right there with you. Yeah, that Luke's season completely turned around at that point, and could not be more happy for Luke too. He's such a good guy. I've had good interactions with him there, so that's really nice to see. Now, your other roommate, Liam Doyle.
Oh man,
he has been an absolute stud. Now, on our normal show that we do every single week, my man Hitch has been calling for Liam Doyle to start for the last month now. And when I broke the news to him that he was finally getting that start 2 weeks ago, he said, I'm either going to look like an idiot or a genius by the end of this. And so far, he's made him look like an absolute genius. Liam's been incredible.
His fastball's so electric. Yeah. Like when he keeps his fastball above 92 miles an hour, it is unhittable.
It is.
Kind of like Doherty. I mean, I'm sure you watched Doherty pitch.
Oh,
when he's 94, 97, it is an unhittable fastball. Like, it looks like it's rising this much. Like, he has 22 inches of ride on his fastball, which is absolutely insane. It's insane.
Jeez. Yeah. He's definitely been a shot in the arm for this rotation ever since he's been in. He's pitching really good. And like I said, it's that fastball that nobody can seem to catch up to. Like I said, I mean – and in this day and age of baseball, everything's velocity, getting it 97, 98, 99, whatever you can. And Liam's going out there, and he's sitting anywhere between 91 and 94. Yeah. And it looks like it's 105 because nobody can catch up to it, right? It's that heavy fastball, right? The one that's moving a hell of a lot faster than you think it is.
Yeah, it jumps on you.
Yeah, that's right. And then he's got that good breaking pitch coming from the left-hand side too. And if you're a left-handed hitter, just good luck, man.
I've seen it.
But been there, done that, hadn't you? Yeah. So so we kind of brought up the bullpen a little bit earlier. It's something that I've harped on over and over and over again over the last several months leading up to the season. Just talking about how this was going to be such a weapon for this team. And I think it's important also to bring up Riley Maddox and what he's been able to do in the midweek for this team. He's kept this bullpen fresh. You look across college baseball, 90-95% of teams are basically out there throwing bullpen days in the midweek, just trying to get through with their pitching staff intact. And Riley's out there, and we have this incredibly dynamic, incredibly deep, in my opinion, best bullpen in the country. And you get to a midweek game, and Riley still isn't letting them get out there and get their work in, right? Because he's going 5-6 innings, and then we're pitching 2 or 3 guys, and we're done. Yeah,
and that's what you want. I mean, he gave up only 3 runs last night, and you win ball games when you only give up 3 runs. And me and Groff were standing in the outfield when they were still up 3-2, and it was like the 5th or 6th or something. I'm like, we're winning this game. Like, no doubt in my mind, we're winning this game. What Riley did is going to help us win this game, and not just what he does every week. It helps us on the weekend. Like Nichols only threw 1 inning. He'll throw 3 or 4 this weekend. Spencer threw 1. BJ threw, I think, 1. Like
1.
It's what you need. You need that in a starting pitcher in the midweek, and it saves you on the weekend. And Coach B calls it the midweek challenge, and we just dominate it. Like, that's what we do. We're going to dominate midweeks, and we're going to get to the weekend, and we're going to win weekends.
Yeah, that's that again. Kind of like I said, it's the big part being able to save that dynamic bullpen that you have. Nobody that pitches in the midweek is unavailable on the weekends because of what Riley Maddox is able to give you from a
Sure.
start pitcher standpoint. So that's obviously really, really, really nice to have. It's quite a luxury. So all right, so you got your first taste of SEC action last weekend, obviously against South Carolina. Had a really good weekend, like we've already discussed. Well, now we get to go on the road. You get your first SEC road series coming up against a really good Tennessee team in Knoxville. Just kind of tell me what you're looking forward to from an experience standpoint, getting this being your first time out there on the road.
Well, I mean, the best thing I could think of is I get to be a little close to home, and that's awesome for me. Like a lot of my family's coming to watch me play. Like Georgia will be the closest for me, but this is the second closest, and it's just being in Rocky Top, which I've been to the place 1,000 times because I live an hour away from there, and it's just it's a different feeling there for sure. Like it gives you the Oxford vibe, and when it gets nighttime in Rocky Top, it's pretty fun. I will say it's electric down there. And I know they don't hold a lot of fans in their stadium, but when the stadium has a lot of fans in it, there, it is absolutely unbelievable. Like when I went there. I think it was the year Ole Miss won at 22 when – no, it wasn't. Yes, it was. It was the regional when the kid, Drew Gilbert, hit the walk-off against the Grand Slam. I was at that game. I was there.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It was really cool to watch, and just their environment's really cool. I mean, their team is obviously going to be really well. They're going to pitch it well, and Drew Beam on Saturday is a fantastic pitcher.
Yeah, he's a problem.
But the thing is they're throwing righties against us, and that's not a good thing.
Y'all are a problem too. That's the thing. It's going to be a heck of a matchup. We just got done recording our normal weekly show. I don't know, probably about 30 or so minutes ago, and that's one thing we talked about was they pitch it really well, but the way our offense is going right now too, with the depth that we have in this lineup, it's going to be really interesting to see that, and on top of the way we're pitching the ball against their lineup too, because they're one of the, top tier offenses in the SEC going right now. They've got a bunch of guys crushing the ball, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I know you're really going to enjoy going to Rocky Top, especially having your family there. I didn't know about that, so that's got to be pretty special for you.
Yeah, so, it's going to be really cool.
Yeah. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and I think the goal here, go. Obviously, you want 3. Let's go win a series, though, on the road, and then you talk about shaking up really nice in SEC schedule, already having, teams like Tennessee and South Carolina behind you, and in a conference that is just absolutely loaded this year, man. Like you're going to play in so many big games and in so many stadiums as this year continues on. So I know that's going to be a lot of fun for you.
Yes, sir. It is for sure.
Yeah, so – all right, well, Treyson, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, buddy. Best of luck this weekend. Keep that hot stretch going, and go ahead and tell your roommates to keep all of their hot streaks going, including Kyler. Kyler has been absolutely dynamic coming out of the bullpen for us. That's another guy. I think I mentioned him last week as a guy that I wanted to see come in this past weekend against South Carolina. So it was nice seeing him get a little bit of more work into. He's been really good, but keep up the good work, buddy. And, at least go win us a couple this weekend.
Yeah, let's do it for sure.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
See ya.
See ya.